Last week, Honda invited me to their EV hub in Ohio, which consists of a few different factories. Now, I got to see what's going on with the reworkings of the Marysville Auto Plant, where they make the TLX, the Integra, the Accord, for example. And they'll be making the Zero Series EVs there, which will give you guys a tour of those vehicles in just a bit. I know you guys would rather talk about cars than how cars are made, but stay to the end if you want to see more of the breakdown of the technologies and the how that affects assembly in the Marysville Auto Plant, as well as the Anna Engine Plant, which is making the IPU or the mega casted battery casings for the Zero Series EVs. But first, let's give you a tour of the beautiful and eye-catching Zero Series Saloon. Zero Series C-segment SUV is what they call it, and a brief walk around of the precursor of the Acura RSX, which is the Acura Performance EV concept. Let's get into it. Ooh. We are inside Honda's Zero Series Saloon, destined to come out sometime in 2026. It's actually going to come out after that SUV, and we'll try to get on the inside of that as well. And it's also going to come out after the initial launch of Zero Series is the Acura RSX. Yes, the return of the Acura RSX. It's not that's the performance EV concept, but the RSX will be very similar to that. So we're inside of this gorgeous Honda Zero Series Saloon. Now, I brought this to you guys at CES. I didn't think I was able to sit in it, so I didn't try sitting in it. Well, here I am at Honda's EV Hub. You might be able to see that. I just toured the Honda manufacturing plant here in Marysville, Ohio, where they will be building these Zero Series EVs. And so I got to see today the assembly lines of the TLX, the Accord, etc. And that was fascinating. But more importantly, they were showing us new manufacturing techniques to build these Honda Zero Series EVs. I'll go ahead. I can play some of that B-roll for you guys. I debuted a lot of that technology for you on the channel when I was actually at Honda R&D in Utsunomiya in Japan. But look at the digital side mirrors. They're working in full effect. Now, that's still illegal for production here in the United States, but maybe by the time this car comes to market sometime later, 2026, this thing, maybe we'll have legalized digital side mirrors. You can see how tiny they are. They should be a heck of a lot more aerodynamic compared to normal side mirrors, and I can just imagine the lack of wind buffeting that you'll get in a vehicle like this if we're able to get this model without side mirrors. So this seat that I'm in, I mean, look how conceptual this is. I mean, the materials are incredible, so I'm going to focus on this. Look at all the LED lighting that's around. It reminds me a little bit, to be honest, of how the Germans do their interior lighting. But it's much softer. Obviously, you have the hard LED line that goes across. That's a bit harsh, but I like this soft glow that's inlaid into the doors and also underneath the doors and underneath the dash. So we actually have some placeholder pedals down there. We have this steering yoke. I mean, none of this is really functional, but this is the first time we've seen this sort of technology in a Honda, okay? Well, at least for us in the United States. There might be something like the Honda E or something, but a steering yoke, which it's actually letting me move, which is pretty cool. Here's the new Honda logo for these Zero Series EVs. I think it actually might be not so new. It might be a really old Honda logo that they're bringing back. All right, so let's talk about the screen here. Well, we got the turning stocks. That's a real stock. I'm surprised it actually moves. So anyways, this is going to be customizable, of course. You have your autonomous driving software here. This is going to be your cruise control, battery, state of charge, external temperature. I wish it was 60 degrees in here. I mean, there's not climate control in this concept, so I'm a bit warm, but I'll stick it out for you guys. So I like this. It's very, could you still have a head-up display? And I guess you could if Honda really wants to give you some more technology here, but maybe they're just going to keep it simple. Thin, light, and wise is their philosophy with their EVs. It's not really a touchscreen. It's just kind of it is a touchscreen. I take that back, excuse me. This is interesting. I thought this is what you wouldn't be able to interact with this, but this is not a real map. It's not like real time that I'm aware of, but you have volume control. I don't like, I hope Honda is in, the volume comes up over here. So this software is actually further along than I thought. So Honda, if you were listening before now in production, can you give us a volume knob at least? I'm getting used to digital climate control, and it's kind of functioning here. So that, you know, like I said, I'm kind of impressed that this is actually working. And wow, the music, are these, okay, these are different songs that are going on. Well, in theory, I don't have the volume going, but yeah, it shows up over there, which is pretty neat. It's pretty snappy for pure test software, but I wonder if this is a sort of basis of the software that we're going to be getting when Honda brings these vehicles out. Okay, so we have, oh geez Louise, what was that? What is happening? So we have like this sport mode I'm in right now, and it also changes the audio. It changed the LED lights in here. We're gonna end, and then it kind of did oh, I just realized that there's LED lighting around the glass roof too. So what about awaken? Okay, got a little bit different lighting scheme here. Unwind. Ooh, I like the orange. The orange is looking pretty nice right now. Okay, parking. Okay, what is this about? Let's click serene. Caution, please note the seat will move. Keep hands, feet, and objects clear of moving parts during operation. Well, we only live once. Holy cow. I don't know what I just did. I think I turned the car off. I think I parked it, and the seats are moving back. Wow. Okay, so these seats are actually functional. I thought they were in one spot locked like most concepts. And we're just kind of resting here. So maybe this is a sort of mode you would be in. And I think my chair's vibrating right now. I don't know if that's intentional. I don't know if that's supposed to be a relaxing vibration, but my seat is 100% vibrating. But this is supposed to be the relaxing, like we're sitting at the bottom of the Bahamas ocean. But I don't know how to turn, okay, here we go, end. All right, so that's kind of neat. Can I even customize that? I don't think so. We'll apply. So it's going to move us back, and it's going to move us back into the driving position. Shall we try the workspace? Workspace will also put me in some different seating position here. I had kind of have this table. This would work as a nice workspace, and it also comes with its unique soundtrack workspace theme. We're gonna end that. That's really fascinating. Meditate. I don't think I'm gonna do meditating, but yes. Oh my gosh, what just happened? Oh, that was the headlight. The headlights just opened. Remember, this has not pop-up headlights, but it has eyelids that will pop up. So let's see here. Can I swipe through any of this? This is all, oh, what's this? Ooh, okay. This is also new. Comfort. We're in comfort mode right now. You can have sport steering. That's pretty fantastic. I'm really surprised that we have this sort of functionality in this concept, which means more than likely we're going to see a future version of this software in these 0 Series EVs. All right. So what is this software? I forgot to mention that. It's Osmo OS. Osmo is the friendly Honda robot. Back in the day, it's been around maybe for a couple decades at this point, early 2000s, maybe late 90s. But the future of Osmo is their AI, their operating system here as well in their 0 Series EVs. And wow, really, really cool that we actually have much more functional software than I was expecting. I thought this was all placeholder. I thought you wouldn't be able to interact with this touchscreen. This area right here, there's some, this looks like a carbon fiber composite of some sort. Really like this LED design crisscross. It kind of looks like crystal. And then I don't think this opens up, but let me tell you, the materials in here, everything feels very sturdy. These seats are very high quality. See the Honda logo here, how they kind of cup and hold you. How comfortable does it feel? Very comfortable. All right. Now, I don't know how to open this door. Can I get out? Okay, he's gonna open it for me. And the steering wheel doing its little dance. So the software in there is actually working.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. That's incredible.
Yeah, I was watching a video that Nathan did, and they were messing with the screen a little.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, Case from TFL, of course.
How's it going?
Yes, just a few of us YouTubers here at this event, but it's always good to rub shoulders with the other YouTubers. All right, no switches for the door handles or windows or anything like that. We're gonna go ahead and get in the back seat, and the window line of these concepts is very, very low. And these seats will be a little bit easier to get into, I'm sure, in the production form, I would assume, because that was a bit tight. But we have this is actually a screen back here. So you'd be able to, I'm sure, to customize this in some way, shape, or form as well. So we have Honda displayed on that screen. Very, very cozy. I mean, this is like a full-on sofa back here. Huge Honda headrest. Very, very unique. I hope some form of this makes it to the production instead of just your standard cars. I mean, there's not even seat buckles in here, so no USB ports, no vents or anything yet, but I would assume that will be coming. Nice LED strip here in the middle. Now, Honda doesn't, they haven't confirmed if this is going to be a 4-seater or a 5-seater, okay? And my head, as you can see, my head is touching the roof, so there's going to be some changes, I would assume, to the interior space of this vehicle. Maybe it's a little bit taller in production form, but Honda's iterated that they're going to bring this car to production as close to this prototype as possible. Now, this prototype is quite a bit different than the... let me get out. It's different than the original Saloon concept that came out a year prior to this. So that came out CES 24. This updated prototype came CES 25. And we got the afterburner taillight. That has to make it to production. Like, it looks like it could just stick my hand in there, but there's a glass piece right here. Super, super cool looking, very high tech. Afterburners, holographic 3D. And this back end here is very new for the 25 model. It's been revised, I'd say 25 model. And there's also a rear camera. Hey, we actually have a camera on this. Look at that roof line. All right, so this is the first Honda model that's coming to market 2026, first half probably, right on the backs of this guy, or the production version of this, the RSX. So here's the door opening. Now this one actually has door handles, where the prototype of the Saloon, at least appears, does not have door handles. So we're going to head and get in on the inside. And it has a similar theme here with this LED light as the Saloon had, all right? The seats feel and look much more like a standard seat you would see in a normal gas or hybrid Honda right now. And you see this has the controls. So this feels like a more production ready vehicle, just from, oh yeah, it's a lot easier to get in, that's for sure, than the Saloon. All right, this also has a digital rearview mirror, as you can see the door closing, digital rearview mirror also closing with it. But this is exactly the same as it was in the Saloon, I believe. The dash is a little bit different. I don't have that big LED crystal thing in the middle, but honestly, this feels great. This feels more comfortable to me, because that car feels so strange. It feels with the glass, the type of the seats, but this thing feels like it's ready for production. That's exciting, because I love the looks of this SUV. Honda doesn't really have a name for it yet, I don't believe. It's just called C-SUV right now. But yeah, look at the software. It's actually working better in here than it was over there. It's a little bit more more responsive to the touch. So this is maybe an updated software compared to what we had in the prototype of the Saloon over there. But yeah, this thing is incredible. I'm excited for this new Honda software. And we have the different modes. Now, remember when I was in the saloon, if I pressed a certain mode, it would change my seat position. I don't think it did. It didn't do that here. So maybe that's something that, geez, that's definitely exhilarating. Like we have drums and stuff playing. Well, yeah, we have these different themes here. And also different, oh, remember it was for parking. So if I go to the Serene, okay, so it does change the seat. Silly me, I had to be in the parking mode. Okay, and we're back. Oh, I like the glow. I like, you know, look, the LED strip here turned off here to relax me. And yes, my seat is also vibrating here like it was over there. I don't know if it's supposed to be, so I'm just gonna go back. It almost feels like the motor of the seat is working hard, so I don't want to burn out a motor or anything. But we still have the steering stock, which it's locked in here. Maybe I have to be in driving mode or something. Maybe, let's see here. Maybe it thinks I'm, oh, I don't want to put it into drive just in case this thing does have active motors in it. I don't think it does, but it does have steering wheel stock here. Yeah, very similar experience to, I would say you take the technology from that, the LEDs from that, and you put it into a CRV, and that's kind of the vibes I'm getting here. This console, it does not open, but I'm sure it will. And look at this small piping here. I don't even know if it's piping. It looks like it's a cord that's twisted. It looks real nice. Honda badge here. On the other vehicle is up here, if I believe. And we nice perforated seats. All right, digital rearview mirror. And look at this, gosh. Okay, so in a typical Honda, your window line starts here, right? The roof comes to here. It comes all the way back. Like it's almost right over my head where the glass starts. I love that sort of visibility. Now, where it could be a problem, and maybe they'll have to tint this glass to a certain extent, because in sunny Florida where I live, it just changed themes on me. But in sunny Florida where I live, I could see this sort of glass becoming an issue. Goodness gracious. I need to end. Thank you. I don't know if someone is just playing with me. I think he's got the remote over there. So maybe he's playing with the different themes with the remote. Yes, this car is remote controlled essentially as a concept. All right, here's the door. Very, very neat. I want to get in that back seat. I saw him at CES, but I didn't think I was allowed to sit in them then. So this is my first time sitting in them, and like, this feels very close to production. The saloon over there feels very, very concept still, but this is, I mean, just a few, like put on some side mirrors and a center console that opens, and it feels like it's ready to go into production. Yes, and I can't wait to get back into the storage area. It's fantastic. All right, how does this compare getting in? Actually, it feels like it sits a little bit lower than like a CRV sitting in here. And you just see how much glass this has, which really makes it feel like a much bigger car than what it is. On the outside, this car looks like a CRV sized, but on the inside, it feels much more roomy. Maybe that will change depending on how much glass we get. And look at these tiny little windows in the back. All right, you know, in the production version, you would have a armrest with cup holders that come down, but notice how this flows into the door. Kind of the seat design flows into the door. It's pretty rare. I see that. No vents back here, but again, that could change. And this does not have a completely flat floor. I don't know if that's just because it's a concept. I'm not sure. You would think a BEV would have a completely flat floor, but oh, the door is closing here. And these seats are reclined quite a bit. Production form, I'm sure you'll be able to move them forward and back for different levels of reclining, but you could easily take a nap in here. And we even have LEDs for the really, really spacious cargo back there. So I want to go ahead and get into the cargo. All right, Eric, can I get out? Thank you so much. He's been awesome. Essentially, I have a personalized door opener for me. So, and Eric, is it possible to open the rear hatch door?
It is now that I figured out how to do it.
Hey, we're all learning.
All right, ready?
Such a cool back end.
It's very cool.
And it's so low. In pictures, it doesn't do it justice, but it's, yeah, I mean, I don't get hit by it, but you can just see how low this is. A CRV is almost like 6 feet tall, right? So, yep, let's do it. Let's get it. There it goes. Wow. And it's like a big trunk. This is something that's different than a traditional, that it'll pivot right at the edge of the vehicle. This is pivoting all the way up here. So this is more like a traditional oversized trunk that you would see on a sedan. It's very unusual. But I like these fold down. I remember that from CES. You have these additional tables that fold down right here for hidden storage. But this is almost minivan-like in terms of practicality. It's a big box where you could fit weird objects in because there's no ceiling to this storage. It's fantastic. Now, what's under here? I don't know if I'll be able to look. Nope, that does not open. But this would be, I'm sure, where the button would be to close it. But very, very unique back end to this vehicle. And it would be cool to see what the back end over there. I would assume the back end of the Saloon is very much like this. Right behind the window line, I would assume that's where it would pivot and come up. But I don't think that prototype has a rear hatch like that. I also previewed on the channel the Acura Performance EV concept back in Michigan a few months ago. So check out that walk around. But this is just a concept. The RSX is going to be a little bit different. We know we have camouflage shots of the RSX coupe like crossover, all right? But the design elements here should carry over to that vehicle. But let me know, out of the three of these, okay, coming out end of 2025, first half of 2026, probably by the end of 2026, let me know which model out of all of these you're most interested in. I want to see what kind of performance this thing has. It looks like it would be really fast. But the design piece of it is just, I can't take my eyes off of it. And Honda's done an amazing job making this look like a sporty SUV. Very boxy, but sleek at the same time. And then we have more of that coupe-like crossover here from Acura coming out. So all head-turning vehicles. Let's hope they come to production as close as possible to these amazingly designed prototypes. So thank you guys. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.
All right, let's get into the Marysville Auto Plant. Now, I took tons of B-roll with my little GoPro, and I could run through that, but honestly, Honda's provided really incredible B-roll, much better and closer to the action than I did on my GoPro. Most of my GoPro footage was like behind the mesh gates that protect people walking through the plant to getting inside the actual assembly area. So this is next level, closer look. So these are the improved car carriers, and they had to be beefed up because EVs weigh more. Thermal media application of EV battery case. So I'll show you how this case is made in a little bit, because that's at the second plant I toured over in the Anna Energy plant. I'm sorry, I have a cold, so that's why I'm not on screen one, and I sound stuffy. But these things are, this is the bottom of the case. They're applying thermal paste, essentially. Thermal plate paste to the battery modules that will get plopped inside of here to better transport heat. And on the bottom side of this battery case is the essentially the liquid cooling, which will also go over more of the water jacket later. But this was really cool. This is all new, so everything you see behind these blue machines, this has been completely reworked in the Marysville Auto Plant. It looks like a completely different place. It's bright, it's white, it's clean. This EV plant, a partition of the Marysville Auto Plant, looks like it's 3 decades newer than where they're producing the Accord TLX and Integra. I did not see actually the Integra being produced while I was there. Doesn't mean it wasn't in production, or I didn't see that that part of the plant, because these plants are enormous. All right, EV pack assembly. There are some details here that are still a little bit unknown, but Yeah, here are the EV battery modules that will be made with LG in Ohio, right? In Jefferson, I think it's Jefferson, Ohio. I can pull up let me pull it up for you guys. Yeah, Jefferson, Ohio. And it still requires manual labor to make sure all these connectors, these plastic clips are clipped in. So I thought that was cool. Also, you'll see in a little bit, you see this area right here on each end of the battery, or should I say well, of course, you have the electrical inputs to the battery and outputs, I guess you could say, the conduits here. But you have these two little black pieces here is where the liquid cooling comes in and out of the battery. And I think I have an image of that. Now, I'm kind of jumping ahead because this is made at the Anna engine plant, but I think I have a picture. Yeah, here we go. Here's how small those holes are where the liquid cooling goes in. And we'll get into this stuff here in a little bit, but those are the holes for the liquid cooling as far as I'm aware. All right, so she's clipping these things. Okay, there's the clippings going on. Here's a battery pack actually getting plopped in. They do it so fast. It's getting plopped into the car. And then you'll have the fasteners going in here in a little bit, screwing the battery pack to the structural frame of the vehicle. So that's pretty neat. Vehicle quality area. I don't know if I saw this portion yet. Now I saw, and this is kind of loud. I saw these areas with the Accord, but apparently they've been revised as well for the 0 Series EV. And I did see this as well. Oh yeah, this is where they make the hybrid battery packs at the Marysville Auto Plant. There were a lot of people in like traditional assembly line fashion assembling the battery packs for the hybrids. So this was really nerdy for me to get to see this in person. But I think that's about it. Yes, final assembly line. I got to see the final aspects of the assembly line. There's my protective eye gear. I wanted to share this part too because I thought it was pretty cool. So we're kind of leaving the area where they're applying the thermal paste and assembling the battery pack modules, all that stuff. And then you can see the TLXs just going around the old assembly line here. This was, I believe, the thermal paste and the battery module simulation. I think I might be going the wrong way, but here she is also putting in the screws to fasten the battery modules, as far as I'm aware, is what she's doing. It's pretty neat. Let's see here. What else? This is us walking into the new plant, and it's just so much different from the old plant, or should I say the old partition of the plant. So I'm going to get back to this area. This is like kind of the final assembly of the Accord. I got to walk over the Accord assembly line. Real geeky stuff. Most of the Accords being made were white. Don't know if that's just what the most popular color is right now, or if a lot of these vehicles are going to rental fleets. I don't know, but like this model over here has the big wheels. I don't assume those elite trims or touring trims. I think it's touring trims would be going to rental companies, but what do I know? So there's still, you can see there's this whole plant is still in flux. They're still working on revising certain areas to get ready for the 0 Series EVs. All right. And there are multiple times as we're walking through the plant, they're like, yeah, just last week, this whole area was making cars. There were tracks, pulleys, and all sorts of stuff that was a part of the old assembly line. But now they're all consolidating the two assembly lines into one assembly line where they can currently make hybrids, EVs, and gas cars depending on market and consumer demand. All right. So yeah, this is cool. This is cool. This is like, for me, this is like sitting on the beach, just watching Accords go by at the assembly line. It's real fun. As we're leaving the plant, you can see the assembled brakes, front suspension, the entire powertrain. That's just going to get plopped into an Accord or a Civic hybrid. Actually, I don't think they make the Civic hybrid there. They don't make the Civic there at all. All right. But Accord hybrids are made there. So that's what you're probably seeing. Now we're heading to the Anna engine plant, or Anna engine plant. This is how small it was back in the day. Check this out. Look how big it's become. This place is a monster. Oh, yes, they make engines here, but they've made all sorts of things in the history of the plant. All right. They make the 3-liter turbo from the TLX Type S and the MDX Type S. They make the 4-cylinder turbos that you see, let's say, in the Type S Integra, Type R. And they also make the hybrid 2-liter systems there. But they also make all these other things. And now they're making the intelligent power unit here. And so shall we get nerdy? I mean, guys, this is how nerdy this stuff is. Full breakdown. This is I'm going to talk about this though, because this is pretty cool. They had to these mega casting machines are brought in from Europe, and it took 2 semis. You had one in the front, one in the back pushing. They're so heavy that they require these immense machines. They said it was so difficult to get it from the initial port to Ohio. But fun fact is that Ohio, they have a lot of tanks in Ohio from the military, so all their roads are spec'd to be able to hold these really heavy machines. All right, so here's a battery pack inside of the vehicle. Here's also some nerdy stuff. So right now, they are making the battery cases at the Anna engine plant. The e-axles are made down in, I think, Georgia, with a joint venture with Hitachi Estemo. All right, I'd love to tour that place as well to see what's going on with this e-axle. Step 2, guys, we're going to have gigacasted frames and all solid-state batteries. Step 2 shouldn't be coming online until 2028, but that is all in flux right now. The tariffs just went live the day. Actually, I said they were signed yesterday, but they go in effect February 4th. I'm recording this on the 2nd. So these sort of pieces are actually supposed to be built, as far as I'm aware, in Canada at a new manufacturing site. But who knows what's going to happen with the tariffs and the plans for Honda here. So anyways, let's keep moving. Here's more breakdown of where the technology is inside of the Anna engine plant. Here's another fun fact is that they had to tear up the old floor and have a much sturdier, much deeper foundation for the new floor because these things are so darn heavy. There are 6 machines in total. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Each of these produce a top and bottom, or you could say the pairings produce a top and bottom of a specific part of the battery case. So let's say, I mean, there's a common part, which is this piece right here. This is the common part used throughout all sizes of the battery pack, and then they weld them together. But this piece here, I think, is the smaller battery pack because you see a little indentation here, and the full battery pack has a full, more rectangle sort of shape to it. So they're producing these in these 6 machines. Now, when I was there, they had, I think, 3 or 4 of the machines up and working on getting them up to speed, quality control, making sure they're producing better and better casings to reduce flaws in the case. Now, there can be flaws, and they have all sorts of technology, cameras, lasers, to make sure these battery pack casings are smooth and not bent or have other defects. You don't want defects because that can lead to batteries overheating if they're not making proper contact with the plating. Battery lifespan could be affected, etc. So these casings are far more like quality control intensive than I had ever imagined. All right. So shall we get into the B-roll instead of just the slides? All right. So let's go ahead and get in the B-roll. All right. So they've installed 6,000 ton high pressure die cast machines. And this is bigger than Honda's ever made before. But the cool thing, these machines can cast other things, assuming they can fit within the size of these big casting machines. They can cast other things over time if they want to. All right, so no big deal, just liquid molten aluminum here, picking it up with a bucket. All right, and then they put it into the machine, the die casting machine. Just shove it in there. All right, and this is it. They stamp the case. Boom. All right. Isn't this wild? Okay, so it's like magic, honestly. So this is the mold that has no aluminum on it. Okay. Boom. Stamp it, and then you have this beautiful case, which is pretty phenomenal. And then you get the little arm that picks it up. They quench it. Okay, this is what they're showing here. Quenching it to reinforce its structure. And then they have this little, I call this a stamp as well. You see all this metal on the outside of it. Like here, I'll see if I can pause it right here. These pieces here. I would assume that's where the aluminum flows into the mold. But they cut it off with this machine, and it's fun. You can kind of hear the clunking aluminum excess metal, which will be recycled and smelted down. And then they have an initial inspector, eyeball inspector, and then we have the multi-camera inspection process. They're taking thousands of pictures, hundreds of cameras to figure out, hey, is it a good cast? All right, you can see that they overlay certain patterns on here, and based off the pattern, if those pattern move, the pattern moves on the battery the battery casing here, then they can tell if it's a good or bad casing. Also, more machining going on. I don't know what else needs to be machined, but I guess they have to drill holes, probably for all the electrical components that have to flow in and out of the battery case. Friction stir welding. This blew my mind when I was over in Japan, but now I'm seeing it in person. I saw this in person, them doing it. It's a very slow, I would call it a super slow process, but it's kind of like watching paint dry. It's kind of boring, but it's cool nonetheless, because what they're doing here is they are welding the front and rear of the battery pack casings together. All right, and so this is what it looks like when it's completed. This is just the bottom portion. You see these grooves. I'm going to go back. You see all these, it looks like a maze. This is the route the water will go, or the coolant will go to cool down the battery pack. Let's see here. Oh, yeah, they're showing the engines they make there. This is kind of a dummy water jacket because it's not 3D. This is just them testing the welding of the water jacket that would go around. So this is not production, but this is a prototype, of course. And so, yeah, you see these channels here. These channels is where the water would go. It's like a maze, right? It's pretty fantastic. And they use friction stir welding as well around the edges here to weld this onto the bottom of the battery case. But I hope this was of interest to you guys. I'm really grateful that I got to see this cool, huge radical shift from Honda. They call this once every century, or the second founding. The first founding was Soichiro-san, of course. But like this Honda wants to be fully electric by 2040. We have a long ways to go in a lot of different ways for Honda in order to, I guess, manifest that reality. We need better batteries and more charging infrastructure. We need better affordability, but I think they can get there by 2040. Well, they'll be producing EVs and on a much smaller scale, fuel cell. So it's fascinating, and I just want these cars to come out. I want to drive them. You guys know I'm a car person. I'm not a manufacturing person. I like it's fascinating, and we wouldn't have cars without the amazing process of manufacturing cars. But like, I enjoy driving cars and being in cars and looking at cars more than seeing how cars are built. But it's all very, very valuable. But I'm going to shut down there. This is just the beginning. Honda will be revealing the RSX, should I say Acura as well, later this year because it starts production by the end of 2025. So this is just the beginning for Honda. And let me know if you guys are excited. I sure am, especially with the designs. That's the big thing. And I want to see how efficient these batteries are and these EVs are, because Honda says, hey, we could just put a bunch of battery in here, but then the performance goes down. It weighs a ton. It's not fun to drive. So they're focusing on efficiency, which I'm all for. If you have fast charging, which we don't know charging rates, I think this is a 400 volt architecture, which is going to reduce charging rates in theory compared to 800 volt architecture. that I'm driving this week in the Ioniq 5N. So stay tuned for that incredible vehicle. But I'm going to shut down there. I'll see you guys in the comments. Have a great day. Take care. Peace.